Now they can't sell off the farm real estate. They've got a problem. They had a management problem, but now, guess what? The tide is out, and boy, are they naked. What I am trying to get across here is, folks, farm real estate, and I'm going to pick on it, in the grain industry right now, is covering up and it's making us complacent. Okay? Hope you all heard that one, and that's loud and clear. Now, next big one. Are lenders extending credit? Yes, but they're rationing credit. And let me talk about this one just for a second. I deal with the farm credit system quite a little bit, but I also deal with bank. I'm on a board of a bank in Virginia. We're a $1 billion bank, about $168 million in ag loans. We just went through our Roto-Rooter, our federal exam, in December. Here's the reality, folks. If your ag lender asks you for more documentation, more financials, I'll tell you why. Our federal examining team comes in. 80% of them had 6 months or less of experience. And oh, what did they do? They went right by the book. And boy, when you deal with agriculture, you go by the book. It's going to be interesting. It got so bad, we had to ship examiners in from the Midwestern part of the United States that understood agriculture. Now, we went through the review okay. But, you know what was really interesting? Every one of our agricultural loans were examined. Every one of them. And if it said dairy on it or hog on it, you know what was interesting? They said, put that one on the critical list. And you know what we told them? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And then in the exit interview, you know what they said? Boy, your loan officers were extremely defensive of your ag loans. Daggone right. Because again, they didn't basically understand them. And what I am trying to tell you, the rules have changed, folks. And here's one of the things. Credit is going to be rationed. Let's go right across the lake, and let's go to Guelph again. I'm up there with Royal Bank of Canada. I do a lot of stuff with Royal Bank of Canada. I go to Canada about 20 times a year. And what's real interesting, I'm up there in Guelph, and I'm on with a young Royal Banker last year. And one of the Canadians, he had an attitude in the audience. You know what he basically said? Well, is the Royal Bank of Canada going to be extending credit for our operating and crop needs this spring? And then he goes, ain't about. And about that time, I says, ooh boy. I handed it over to the young kid. The young kid basically said this, and he looked him right straight in the face. He says, if you come in with a shoebox of records, or if you come in with an account prepared records, and we have to open the envelope for the first time, versus the one that uses the records and management decision making, he says, which one are we going to go to first? He says, we're going to the second one. And I want you to think about, in about 60 days, when you're in the field, and I want you to think about the analogy he gave. He says, when you go to a field in the spring of the year, what do? You go to dry ground first, and you work out wet holes. He says, one of the things is, are you a dry ground credit or are you a wet hole credit? And it's your choice. And I'm going to look you all square in the eye. When it comes to your operating needs this spring, or just long term, you're thinking about acquiring land, you're either going to be dry ground or you're going to be a wet hole. And it's your choice and it's up to you. But I can tell you, it's not going to be business as usual. And here's the other thing. If you use it and you use it right, you'll become a better manager. Okay? So I'm talking tough with you, but I fully realize that one of the things is this is going to be critical for your success. Now, let's talk a little bit about from the views from the road. Talk about opportunity. Think about this. 70% of North American farm ground is going to change hands by the year 2025. Think about it, 15 years from now. My guy with the Michigan gear around here. I don't know how old he'll be, probably what, about 45, right? Huh? Yeah, fairly close. You won't be wearing Michigan gear, okay? No. But, you know what's real interesting? Everybody says that's going to be buy, sell. No, it's going to be rent, lease, steal, borrow, you name it. And one of the things that you've got coming at all of you in this room, and particularly Mr. Michigan over here, you know what? One of the things is he's going to be dealing with a whole set of new landlords. Yep. Granny's going to be gone. Granny's children are going to own the farm ground. Come to the University of Iowa the other night. Okay, not an ag school. And you know what was interesting? I had 2 young ladies in that audience, in the B school, that are going to inherit their grandfather's farms, 3, 4, 5,000 acres. And they're wondering what they're going to do with it. That's going to be his new landlord. Oh, and one of them's going to go to med school. So he's going to be dealing with that doctor. And one of the things that we're starting to find, folks, landlord negotiation is going to be really critical for success. We're just getting some latest of the 2009 Farm Business Analysis Summary. You know what we're finding? Profits are down about a half, even on grain farms. And it's not because of the weather and some of the issues that were talked about here earlier. You know what it is? It's all about cash rent and how much you paid for cash rent. And one of the things that I would say for the older folks in here is, remember, that person that's renting your farm ground is your long-term annuity. And are they taking good care of it? I had a lady up in western Iowa. She always comes to my seminar. She always has a cane. You have to wear a jock strap to the seminar. She'll whap you a good one, okay? And what's real interesting is, you guys didn't pick it up. You're pretty daggone slow today, alrighty? One of the things that's real interesting is this. She said, well, I just raised the cash rent. She just raised it up. She owns 3,000 acres. She raised it up to what? $300 an acre. It's a pretty good annuity. And I says, ma'am, what do you need all that money for? You know what she said? Well, it's my bragging rights down at the nursing home, okay? But bragging rights today, well, that's what they talk about at nursing homes. I know they do, okay? Because I'll see some of them, occasionally I'll go visit nursing homes, and that's what they talk about. That is going to be something that's real critical for all the people under 40 years of age. Other thing is, everybody asks me what's business model is going to be successful. Folks, it's not going to be one size fits all. Local, natural, organic, that's 8% of the marketplace today, 20% by the year 2025. Your traditional producer is still going to be viable, but they're going to focus on what? Efficiency, but still being effective. And then you're going to have your large, complex type of unit. But boy, one thing that's going to be impacting your bottom line, and it's going to hit the livestock side first, and then eventually crops, you know what it is? Come on to Clemson. Clemson University, year ago spring. Had a great big old Alabama producer on a farm panel. He gets up, you know what he said? Well, he says special interest groups are going to have a bigger impact on the future of agriculture than any politician at any level ever thought about having. Folks, boy, was this guy prophetic. Think about it. Proposition 2 passes in California, so much space for confined animals. It's going to cost the California ag industry $28 billion. Of course, they've got water issues out there. And you know what's happening to a number of the ag producers? They're basically looking at other areas of the country where they're going to go produce. Okay? And one of the things that I would just tell you is special interest groups are going to have a big impact where we farm, how we farm, and the consumers will as well. A couple of other things. I see it a little bit in this audience, but I don't see it quite enough. You know what I'm observing this fall and winter on my speaking series? Let's go to the Ag Summit, St. Louis. 213 people. Half of them were under the age of 35. Fifth of them were women. And boy, were they interested in marketing and risk management. Because why? That's their annuity sitting out there. Danny Kleinfelder's TPAP, the Ag Executive School. Half of them were under the age of 40. These are not your biggest producers, but they're the most positive-minded. Now, I'm seeing quite a few younger folks in here. There's a new energy coming into agriculture, and that is really, really good.